headlights shouldn't have been there. Not that high up. Not that late. A man sits inside his car, engine running, trying to stay warm. The road is empty. Snow is building. And then, lights behind him. Another vehicle. He tries to call out. He needs help. He shouts into the dark, but the voices stop. The lights go out. Silence, like whoever was there decided not to be. Hours later, that same road will hold a car that shouldn't be there, and 5 men who should have been home won't be found. And this is the open file. They weren't supposed to be anywhere near the mountains. That's the first thing that matters, because everything that follows only works if you understand that. They had a plan, a simple one. Drive to Chico, watch a basketball game, go home. That's it. Nothing spontaneous, nothing unpredictable. The next morning mattered. They had a game of their own. Uniforms laid out, alarms set. They were ready. People who knew them said the same thing over and over. They were routine-driven, structured. They didn't just disappear into the night. And yet, that's exactly what happened. There were 5 of them. Close friends. They spent most of their time together. Sports mostly, basketball. They played on a team built for men with intellectual disabilities. They understood each other, trusted each other, moved as a unit. If one did something, the others followed. That mattered, because it means whatever happened, they went into it together. That night, February 24th, 1978, they make the drive north, about 50 miles, nothing unusual. They watch the game. UC Davis wins. Everything is normal. Afterward, they stop at a small market, snacks, soda, milk. It's late. Just before closing, they leave. And that's the last confirmed moment anyone sees them alive. Morning comes, and they don't come home. That's when the pattern breaks, because they always came home, always called, always checked in. This time, nothing. No call, no delay, no explanation, just absence. The search starts where it should, the road back from Chico, the obvious route, but nothing turns up. No accident, no breakdown, no sign they ever started heading home at all. And then, 4 days later, something surfaces, not on the route they should have taken, not even close. The car is found, miles into the mountains, on a remote road in Plumas National Forest. High elevation, snow-lined territory, the wrong direction, completely. The car isn't wrecked, it isn't damaged, it isn't even disabled. It's just there, partially stuck in snow, but not deeply. 5 grown men could have pushed it out, easily. The tank still has gas. The engine starts. No mechanical failure. No reason to abandon it. Inside, everything suggests they were there. Food wrappers, drink containers, items from the game. Nothing looks disturbed. Nothing looks rushed. It's not a panic scene. It's not a struggle. It's just stopped. And then there's the detail that doesn't fit. The car is unlocked. A window is rolled down. That wasn't normal. Not for the driver. Not in a place like this. Not in the cold. Not in the dark. That's a decision. and it doesn't match anything about him. The location matters because to get there, they had to leave the main road, take a turn they had no reason to take, drive miles into isolation, at night, in winter, with no proper clothing. Nothing about that is accidental, so the question becomes simple. Why did they go there? At first, there's no answer. Search efforts are slowed by weather, snowstorms, dangerous conditions. Even the search team struggle to stay on the road. And then, searching stops. Because there's nothing else to find. No footprints, no direction, just a car and silence. Until someone comes forward. A man who had been on that same road. That same night, he had driven up earlier, gotten stuck in the snow himself, stayed in his car, engine running, trying to keep warm. And then, hours later, he sees something. Lights behind him, a vehicle, people moving around it, more than one. He thinks he sees a woman holding a baby. He calls out. He needs help. But the moment he does, everything stops. The talking, the movement, the lights. Gone. Later, he sees flashlights. Again. He calls out. Again. They disappear. No response. No approach. Nothing. He stays there for hours. Eventually, he walks out, leaves the car behind, finds help, and on the way, he passes a car, abandoned, on the same road. The timeline lines up, the location matches. If what he saw was real, then they weren't alone. But there's a problem. His condition. He was in pain, severe, later confirmed to be a heart attack, disoriented, weak. So what he saw can't be confirmed and can't be ignored. Other sightings come in. Most are dismissed, but one stands out. A small store, miles away. The day after the disappearance, a woman sees 4 men, out of place, not local. She notices their expressions, their behavior. Something about them feels off. 2 go inside, 2 stay outside, near a phone booth. They don't use it, they just stand there. Inside, they buy food, quickly, leave. The store owner backs it up, says the same thing. Their behavior matches what their families would expect, but the location doesn't, because to get there, they would have continued deeper, further away from home, not closer, which means if it was them, they didn't turn around. They kept going. Months pass. Snow covers everything. And then, June, the snow melts, and the mountain gives something back. A trailer, Forest Service, remote, used for emergencies. The door is opened, and the smell hits first. Inside, one of them is found, on a bed, wrapped in sheets. Carefully, deliberately. He didn't die immediately. That's clear. His body shows it. Weight loss, severe. He survived for weeks, possibly months. But that creates a new problem. Because inside that trailer, there was food, enough to last. Heating equipment, supplies, everything needed to survive. And yet, he starved. The food wasn't fully used. The heater wasn't turned on. The resources were there, but not accessed, not used. His shoes are missing, gone. But another pair is there, not his, which means someone else made it to that trailer and stayed, at least for a time. Outside, searchers begin finding more remains scattered along the road, between the car and the trailer. They didn't all make it. Some stopped, collapsed, died in the snow. Exposure, hypothermia. One likely laid down. The other stayed until he couldn't. Another found further out, pieces scattered. Time and animals had taken the rest. The pattern forms. They left the car. They walked. They kept going. Into deeper conditions. Into worse terrain. Away from safety. But that still doesn't answer the first question. Why did they leave the car at all? Because going back would have taken them past help, past shelter, past a way out. Instead, they move forward, into isolation, into darkness, into something they chose, and one of them never shows up. No remains, no trace, nothing. Which means he either survived longer than the others, or something else happened after everything else. Inside the trailer, there's one more detail: the body, covered, wrapped. That's not something you do alone. Not in that condition. Not with that level of deterioration. Someone was there, after, alive, thinking, deciding, and then gone. So now the case changes, because this isn't just about getting lost or making a wrong turn. This is about a series of decisions: leaving the road, abandoning a working car, ignoring calls for help, walking deeper into danger, not using available resources, staying when leaving might have saved them, leaving when staying might have saved them. Every step moves away from survival, not toward it. And that creates the problem, because nothing about that sequence feels accidental. Nearly 50 years later, the road is still there. The distance is still measurable. The path is still traceable. The car should have been the end of it. A mistake, a breakdown, a simple explanation. But it wasn't. Because what happened after the car doesn't follow that logic. It follows something else. Something deliberate, something controlled, or something misunderstood. 5 men left the game that night, together, coordinated, with a plan for the next day. And somewhere between that parking lot and that mountain road, something changed, something that made them turn, something that made them keep going, something that made them leave safety behind. Because none of that is random. It's a decision, or a series of them. And decisions leave patterns. Even when the people behind them disappear, 4 were found, 1 wasn't. And whatever happened on that road didn't end when the car stopped. It only started because the most important question was never how they died. It's why they went there. And that's something that still hasn't been uncovered. And until then, the file stays open.